Hey, what up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. Stevie Breach coming to you. Welcome to the Wrestle Center. Talking next year's WrestleMania. Everybody knows it's going to be a huge one. WrestleMania 30. And I can't believe that this shit's been around so long, so long. But Brock Lesnar, what's he going to do next year? See, it turns out when I woke up this morning, rumors hitting the fans that they're already trying to figure out what they're going to do with Brock Lesnar. Honestly, in my opinion, with this long-lasting feud that's running with Triple H. It just seems like it's going on forever and ever. If you can remember, they had the match at SummerSlam, then they didn't have another match until WrestleMania. But then, after watching the Extreme Rules match, it seems like these guys have honestly had a match at every pay-per-view along the way. You sort of forget that Lesnar quit after SummerSlam. The feud just seems like it's going on and on forever and ever. And if he is really going to be, taking off for a while until SummerSlam time like he did last year, I think it's going to be an awesome, good break, especially if he comes back and fights a new opponent. I do not want to see Triple H versus Lesnar 4 at SummerSlam. I do not need a year-long feud from those guys. It was good for one match. It was all right for two, but let's just move on and get away from this and act like it never happened again. I know they want to run with this whole, Triple H's, deteriorating storyline, but we need something new. Next year's WrestleMania, the two names that are bouncing off the board are The Rock and The Undertaker. Two guys that WWE doesn't have a whole lot of stock in even being at WrestleMania next year. It's kind of weird, kind of scary. Brock Lesnar might fall into a place where he has to wrestle maybe a lesser opponent because The Rock got hurt last year at WrestleMania. They gave him probably one of the best send-offs anybody's ever gotten, even if it wasn't supposed to be what it was supposed to be. I mean, that could go right next to Ric Flair's retirement at WrestleMania 24. The way that, he lost the title to John Cena there in the middle of the ring. He walked around, gave everybody the hugs and kisses, gave everybody in the fans tons of love, walked all the way up the ramp. All the attention was all on him. Met John Cena at the top of the ramp, passed the torch right there to him, greeted him as the champion. If The Rock never wrestled again, I would be very happy as the guy that was a Rock fan back in the day. I know I was on Team Cena the whole time, and I was giving Rock a whole lot of gump, but I really appreciate everything that Rock did for coming back. He had every reason to come back and help out the product that was there today. But honestly, in my opinion, wrestling has to be able to survive without The Rock. It'd be nice to have him come back for appearances here, there, and along the way, but they should not be basing the biggest show of the year around a guy that isn't really a wrestler coming back to wrestle this one more match. Build up what you have and then see what you have from there on. Don't keep bringing these guys back from the past. Last year's WrestleMania, you had The Undertaker, you had The Rock, Triple H, countless guys that had the big time matches that weren't doing the house shows, that weren't doing Monday Night Raws all year long. They weren't doing all the other pay-per-views. They just came back to push this one big one and make this big splash. WrestleMania should be the biggest show of the year, but it should be the emphasis of what your product really is for a whole. So, in my opinion, let The Rock go. If you want to have him come back and do the Hall of Fame, he can come out and do that one thing, before the main event where Howard Finkel says his name and he gets to wave to the crowd and gets the big emotion, but don't base the whole thing around having this one big match. If they are able to do Brock Lesnar versus The Rock, if he is able to come back and says he wants to put it on the line, he wants to have one more match, he knows that a Brock Lesnar match would be huge business, it's all for him. I mean, it's going to be probably huge liability on his wrist to go out there. I know he got injured last year. Will he get injured again? Brock's going to be a whole lot more physical with him than John Cena would. And it is a risk and a liability to all the movies that he's making after that. Maybe him getting injured last year was a 1 in a million thing, but if you can remember back, he said at WrestleMania 28 he got injured during one of the things as well. That was something he didn't have to have surgery for. It got better on its own. But he didn't even really complain about it or anything. He didn't even tell us until the WrestleMania special on NBC 6 months later that they'd run in the middle of summer for no fucking reason. I don't know why they do that show. It should honestly be closer to when WrestleMania was. I know you're not going to get a lot of people are going to end up watching that show or to buy the DVD and they already bought the pay-per-view anyway. There's no real spoilers that are going to hurt your whatever. Or maybe show it right before WrestleMania. So it's sort of like a documentary showing how awesome WrestleMania is if you're on the fence to buy it, one or the other. Other person, Undertaker. Undertaker is the guy that I gave a whole lot of guff to last year. Was he going to come back and have the one more match? He was 20-0. I thought that was a perfect send-off for him. It didn't really make sense for him to come back for 21-0. But the guy keeps on coming back year after year after year. Ever since the Edge match, he's had the match of the night easily. We had Triple H versus Edge, Triple H versus Michaels and Michaels, Undertaker versus Edge, Undertaker versus Michaels, Undertaker versus Triple H. Awesome matches. Then last year, Undertaker versus Punk. The lead up to it wasn't all that spectacular, wasn't all that great. Offended a whole lot of people. I thought it was good TV, but a whole lot of people just wanted to complain about something, I think. But Triple H versus Punk, easily the best match of the night. I thought that that the Triple H versus Lesnar match was to deliver. It was horrible, in my opinion. I would never want to see that match ever again. But Undertaker keeps on coming back and back and back. And if they had a match, good God, the rivalry that they had in the past. And then you also bring up the thing that almost happened for WrestleMania 27 when they were at UFC. And they bumped into each other and they caused the big, huge media circus. Everybody was up in arms thinking that the UFC guy was going to come down. And, we didn't find out until this year that behind the scenes, Dana White and Vince were actually talking, trying to make this match happen. Dana White was strongly against it, but at least he was sort of listening to what Vince McMahon had to say, putting this thing together. But, if those are the two guys, Brock Lesnar's going to have one hell of a match. But if either of those two guys can't go, Undertaker this year was a hell of a last-minute decision if he was actually going to do the match with Punk or not. It almost seemed like he wasn't going to be there. He wasn't in any of the plans, and all of a sudden he shows up at the house show in Waco, and we're on. I don't know. To me, it's a risk to put all this into somebody or all this into two people that you don't even know is going to be there. But we'll have to see. Like I said, WrestleMania is going to be a big one. It's going to be huge. I'm sure that these are the two people that are on the table, and I'm sure they got backup names on the back list, and it's not Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. It's going to be somebody. I'd love to see The Undertaker go up against the Shield. Fight all fucking three of them at once. Have it be like when Jericho fought the Three Legends, and you could have a great match that way. Can Taker beat three guys? I don't know. He beat two guys once. We'll see if he can beat three. Peace out.